this year is Education to Autonomy and Independent Living. We have some problems with the computer of the room that is with open office, and so sometimes we read something that is not there, but we don't resolve. We have not resolved. As you remember, in the beginning of the survey, we have resumed what we mean for independent living. One from ADF and one from Inclusion Europe. I wanted to read again to be clear with the topic of today. For ADF, independent living is the daily demonstration of human rights-based disability policies. Independent living is possible through the combination of various environmental and individual factors that allow persons with disabilities to have control over their own lives. This includes the opportunity to make real choices and decisions regarding where to live, with whom to live, and how to live. After there is another specification. For Inclusion Europe, what independent living looks like depends on the needs of the individual person. For example, one person may need someone to come in once a week to do budgeting or access to a support number of workmen. Another person might need support workers, personal assistants working with them all the time. Someone else may just need support to access employment or to help them work out how to do something new or different. There are many different approaches to support independent living. Peer support is another element of disabled people living independently. Seminar and our survey speaks over all these topics. 22 countries, 23 associations, and 11 questions. In the first question we asked where the people, the adults live. And in the majority of the country, the adults live with their family. The second choice is in institution, the third in residential house, the fourth in independent small groups, on their own and with the partners of the last. So the majority is in the family and in institution. We asked if is there a law that promoted solutions and services for independent living, and only in 17 countries we have a specific law. I think that the reason is that the topic of the adults is a new topic for a lot of countries. Only in some countries there is a specific law about the service for independent living. In Italy, for example, we have a new law only 3 years ago that gives specifically support for independent living. Before there were some care in other laws. If yes, which of the following solution services are provided by the national or local authorities? In the most part of the law, they speak about own personal assistance and economic support. After there is the offer of institutionalization, after housing for small group, consultancy service for the family, and preparatory actions. As you can see, the preparatory actions that we are going to discover that are very, very important is the last care of the law. And this is an important topic. Which is the role played by people with Down syndrome living independently? We wanted to know if they are real protagonists or not in this solution. In the most part of the questionnaire, the people with Down syndrome take part in some daily life decision. Only in a few situations the main decisions are taken by people with Down syndrome with the support of professionals, and in some cases they are only users. And so also the topic of the protagonism, the the self-advocacy is not so recognized in all the countries. That is very, very important. And the idea that we received is that in some cases they only received services. In some cases they can say something, for example, about what we want to cook or what we want to do in the free time, but they are not involved in the most important decision about their life. Why do people with Down syndrome leave their family home? We wanted to know if the motivation is a choice or if the motivation is an emergency, is the needs to have a family. We have found that in 13 cases there is a choice of the people. In the other cases is the absence of the family or the absent or insufficient support services. And so is the emergency. When we speak about the residential houses, we asked who manage this kind of structure. In the most part of the answers, we say private organization, public authorities, religious institutions is the third answer. In many cases, there are more than one answer. And so in many countries, there are residential houses managed by public authorities and by private. In the case of the institution, not the residential house, the most part are public. And after we have the other one. We wanted to know another things that is the new things, is the home automation, the domotica, the electronic solution that can help in the house, that in many countries are used, for example, in the houses for people with physical problem, but not very often they are used in the house with people with intellectual disability. And so we have asked if home automation is applied in this environment. We have found that there are some experience. I suppose that it is very interesting to discover something more about this one, because it's the new point of view about the organization. For example, we have had some experience about this in Italy, and this can help the people to live more alone, because the home automation help the life alone. Sorry, if we need other chairs, I think that we can ask in the back.
I have just asked for
okay. In this question we ask, in your point of view, what is the main obstacle to the autonomy and the independent living of people with Down syndrome in your country? The main obstacle is the shortage of support services and the lack of legislative support. In the third position, there is the resistance of families. It means that we need more services. We need... Forse un altro paio. It means that we need more services, we need more law, but we need also to work with the family, because the third obstacle are the resistance of the family in the autonomy. After we have asked, does your association directly implement services for autonomy and independent living? Only 12 associations has directly implemented the services. Obviously that after we put all the questionnaire on the reserved area of the website, so if you wanted to read the different answers of the different countries to discover point of view that can help you, you can go to read. What kind of services are provided by the association? The majority provide preparatory action, 10 countries, and consultancy services for families. Housing for small group, only 3 cases, and after other support. And we have asked, what do you mean in your association for preparation to independent living? Because we have focused that preparation is a very important topic, and also the association can be involved directly in preparation. And the most important choice are use of money, personal autonomy, self-care, orientation and behavior on the road, communication with unknown person, domestic skill, and after ability to make choices, relational affective dimension. The last answer is assertiveness. I think that is important also this one, because it's connected with the question don't work about the assertiveness. It's impossible that the people can decide something by themselves. Other answers are housing, professional support for family independent housing, early intervention on autonomy, teenagers group, information to the parents about possibilities and share experience. Training in this research is the topic is new for many countries. Have you seen that in many countries there are not a lot of is very often the answer to an emergency and not a choice. We have seen that the majority of the people go out from their houses because there is no services or no support, and only one part go out because decide to live alone. And the preparational actions are very limited. I have put also the link with the research of Down Syndrome Organization of UK that have done work about the needs of the people in front of the problem of residential housing, independent living, and you can read. We put obviously this presentation and also the questionnaire on the website, and you can have other information about this one. This is to give us the general framework of this morning, and now I think we start with the presentation of the experience that we have in our group. I can continue.